So Kirby had some interesting thoughts today at the press conference. Wasn't feeling too good about it, was he?
No, he wasn't. He didn't seem too happy when they started getting into the topics of the impending revenue sharing decision that's coming down and how players are kind of being shopped around. And it was very telling, just exactly what he said today that kind of shocked me a little bit. We have the video clip here. It's from Dogs HQ, and we're going to play that now.
Everybody's on pins and needles because we don't know exactly what's going to come out of this. What I do know is that we're going to continue to recruit people who love football, who are passionate about football, and that don't put money as the number one answer. Like, I've never met a really good player that's all they care about. So, like, the 105 number, the NIL number, what's the cap number, what is this going to be? There's stuff going on right now, guys, in college football. I mean, there's people reaching out to have a Zoom call and present all the players they represent that are on teams, including our teams. And they want to invite people to the Zoom so they can watch and see who's going in the portal or shopping who's in the portal before the portal. You want to get on the Zoom and look at all these players? I'm like, well, go to some other mine. I mean, it could be one of the most legendary, moments in all of college sports.
Wow. Okay. There's some wild stuff going on. This whole thing about the Zoom calls, like, holy cow.
It's crazy that there are agents, I guess, that are with these kids that are actively propositioning them to other teams as available. They're actively going to head coaches who might have players that could be in their list of guys that are available and telling them that they want to invite people on to see their list of prospects.
Yeah, players that are already on their team, they're guys. I mean, what the heck?
Like, and Kirby made it sound like that's like not even half of what's going on. Like, I can't even imagine what's going on beyond that.
Like it was a normal thing nowadays.
Yeah,
like what the heck?
And he talked ad nauseum. He said, we are going to continue to recruit kids who want to be good at football and want to continue to improve, and not the guy who's out there looking for their top dollar. But we also know that Kirby Smart is in the Georgia football business, and when the Georgia football business is good, it's winning. So I want to believe that that's his only truth, but it's probably not. But this whole business about shopping the kids, man, it kind of just makes me sick, right?
Yeah. It sounds terrible. It makes me feel terrible. It's like if a recruiter in your real world, your business, is trying to pitch you as a candidate to your existing company.
Right.
Like, you to get fired.
Right. It's kind of like you're having a negotiation because, once again, in college football, we don't have these players under contract because they're not employees.
Who's the kid in basketball? Started Ohio State, started at South Carolina, went to Ohio State, back to South Carolina.
I mean, there's kids that were playing in the NCAA tournament, and because the portal opened up, they were in the portal while still playing in the NCAA tournament for their team. Like, that's what Kirby was mentioning. He said what's happening in basketball is absolutely nuts. Like,
well, I mean, that happened during the CFP too.
Yeah, it did.
I mean, it's just no different. It's just annoying as hell.
Yeah. Another thing that he mentioned that I did not know about this whole roster size limit decision is Kirby said that he thinks it's going to lock at the first game of the season, not during the summer at some point. So that means that teams potentially could be carrying more than 105 players right up until their first game. So if you transfer to go somewhere and then they've got to get down to 105 players, you're going to have guys getting cut the week of the season from the team?
Yeah, it doesn't sound very good for the players.
Yeah,
at all.
How is that good for anybody? Like, That is not good for anybody. And the other thing that Kirby pointed out in this whole situation is that with all this money and everything and players shifting around, what is the impact it's going to have to other sports? Other sports are going to start being cut because if teams have to pony up all this money to keep players on their football team and football is their revenue producing sport, they're not going to keep other sports around.
Yep, you'll see at least two sports cut or two teams cut at least for per school, just because of the Title IX stuff. You got to have certain number of programs for men and women. So
but
if that happens, they're gone.
I think they'll start cutting non-revenue sports. I mean, if you look at across college sports, football, men's basketball, and baseball are the only sports that even are sometimes revenue sports, and baseball is really only a revenue sport in the SEC. And a few schools have some other programs, gymnastics and things like that do really well, but it's not a lot of sports that actually make money anywhere. Doesn't matter who you are. And I remember a few years ago, I think it was Cal was going to cut their baseball team, and they were like top 5 team in the country at that point. And they were cutting their baseball team because they couldn't afford it. And that was before you considered that Cal, who's now in the ACC, was traveling across the country all the time. It's just crazy that this is the situation we're in with very little regulation. This decision will help. It'll start the process, but Kirby's right. If this doesn't get under control, this Wild West world we're living in, it's not good for anybody in the end.
It's really not. And
at the universities, they're lining their pockets with money and the TV executives.
Right. Well, going back to the roster limit thing and, being able to have the players on your roster up until the first game, what do those kids do? Do they just attend class and don't play football anymore? Or are they allowed to practice with them?
Yeah, see, that's what I know. Does your roster lock? I would assume that your roster locks at 105, and then anybody who's not on that 105 can't join the team because essentially the whole idea with the 105 on the roster is you're doing away with walk-ons because everybody's going to be paid. Everybody's part of the revenue sharing. So there is no such thing as a walk-on anymore. I guess there will be guys that are on scholarship and that are not on scholarship maybe, but everybody's going to be getting paid. So there's no such true concept as a walk-on anymore. So you're not going to it's not going to be the middle of the season our 2 kickers get hurt and suddenly we're having kicking tryouts.
Yeah, I mean, I think you'll still have people able to try out to truly walk on, and if they make the team, then they'll make money.
I guess maybe they are summer practice players, kind of like in the NFL. Undrafted free agents who know that they're going to be on an NFL team for this summer, and then their football career is over. They get one extended summer after their college career. Maybe it's something like that, one extended year after high school to be on a summer college football team, and then their career is over.
Do you think that they would be able to have a transfer window for players that didn't make the cuts?
I don't see how you could if you're not locking the roster down until the first week of the season. Could you transfer and you've been practicing with the team? Like, they wouldn't want to let guys transfer somewhere else and give away all their secrets. It's not like they were there in the spring. Once you get into fall camp and really those last couple of weeks, you're putting in game plan, you're putting in play calls and everything else. So I don't think you could do that.
Yeah. I mean, you could. I'm just trying to think like what would be best for those players if they could at least transfer to JUCO or something out of conference. I don't know. Give them something.
Yeah, I don't know if the people making the decision care.
Yeah, but also, when you really think about it, if you're not able to make 105 man roster, probably don't need to be there anyway.
True. But tell that to Stetson Bennett. Tell that to Dan Jackson. Tell that to Baker Mayfield.
I'm sure they would have been in that 105.
Probably. Tell it to Rudy.
He was offsides.
Yes, it was.
I